morning, Elon. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Matt Lee.
And I'm Nicole Bloom. Thanks for tuning in to Elon in the Morning. It's a somber morning in Boston and across the nation after 2 explosions killed 3 people and injured more than 150 near the finish line of the Boston Marathon. Joe Bruno is live in the studio with the newest details that emerged while we were sleeping. Joe?
Good morning, Nicole. The Boston Police Department had a briefing about 20 minutes ago. Here's what we know now. Mayor Thomas DeMino, he stressed that Boston will overcome from this situation. We know that 150 people were injured. 3 people at the moment have been confirmed dead. One of the 3 confirmed dead was 8-year-old Martin Richard of Dorchester, Massachusetts. His neighbors say that he was waiting at the finish line for his dad to finish the race when the 2 bombs exploded. Now, Martin Richard was a big fan of baseball, his neighbor says, and was just a typical 8-year-old boy. Now, to put these blasts into context, we have some video to show that comes from Suffolk University News. This comes from a reporter who was at the finish line. As you can see, after the first explosion, people just panic and scatter before yet another explosion is heard. But one thing that did come out of this tragedy were acts of kindness. Former New England Patriots guard Joanne Druzzi was photographed carrying an injured survivor to safety. Joanne Druzzi is actually a cancer survivor himself, and Google made a public spreadsheet of Bostonians who opened their homes to those displaced. The spreadsheet has the name and contact number of people in the area with information on their apartments. And finally, it was said that some runners finished the race just kept running to a local hospital to donate blood. The American Red Cross set out a tweet later in the day, and after they received an overwhelming amount of donations, sent out this tweet, as you can see on the screen. Now, if you're looking for something to do locally, today at 4 p.m. there's a prayer service in the sacred space of the Newman Lumen Pavilion. We will continue to update you with the latest information and ways you can help as they become available. Nicole?
Thanks, Joe. Our very own Sky Cowens is from just 30 minutes outside of Boston, and she's here to talk with us today about her hometown. So, Sky, you're part of the 9% of Elon students who are from the Boston area. How do you deal with what's happening at home right now, being so far away?
Yesterday was really hard, being almost 800 miles away from home, especially as a freshman. You know, when I heard about what happened, I immediately panicked and started calling everybody that I knew, all my friends and family who I knew were there, and any of my friends who go to school in the city, and it was really hard with no cell phone service. And I know a lot of students were dealing with the exact same thing I was going through yesterday in that panic state.
So were you able to reach any of them and hear what they had to say about the situation?
I was. My aunt and uncle took my little cousins in to watch the marathon, and they were walking to the finish line just before the explosion happened, and they decided to stop for coffee right before. And there are so many of those stories of people have their own stories of how they were saved and how their loved ones were saved, and I'm so thankful for that, but we have to remember that there were so many who weren't.
Right, right. Thank you so much, Sky. Today is also the 6th day of remembrance at Virginia Tech. In 2007, a gunman opened fire, killing 32 people and then himself. Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell declared today Virginia Tech Remembrance Day. The state participated in a moment of silence at 9:43 a.m. The funeral for Prime Minister of Great Britain, Margaret Thatcher, is tomorrow. Our Jeff Ackerman is in London with how the country is preparing for the funeral of its first and only female leader.